Hi everyone, welcome back to the Fishing Lakes apiaries. Today we have some sunshine at last. It's incredibly warm, the heat that you get from the sun as we move into June. There are some shower clouds about though, so I think we're going to have to dash in and out of the apiary, check bees, and then if it does rain, jump in the truck again. Today we're hoping that the colony that we inserted a frame of drone foundation in is fully drawn, has eggs in it. Those eggs have developed into larvae and that larvae has been capped. So this is a drone brood removal frame that we're trying to use in order to maximize the removal of Varroa from this colony. It's a demonstration colony. I don't think we've got a serious Varroa problem with any of our colonies at the moment, but I wanted to demonstrate how you can use this drone brood removal process instead of using chemicals. What I'm trying to do more these days is to reduce the amount of chemicals that we're putting into our colonies. And so reducing the treatments that go in there and use more mechanical means such as drone brood removal. We'll also have a go at queen trapping, and we'll maybe shoot a video to show that as well. But today we want to just have a look at this frame that hopefully has now got capped brood, sealed brood in it, and we can take that away. Now remember, the Varroa will look specifically to use these drone cells because the drone takes that a few extra days to emerge over and above a worker cell, and so it's a better option for the Varroa, and we can use that by removing that frame and hopefully trap any Varroa within it. You can also use a super frame, so if you didn't have a brood frame with drone foundation, you don't necessarily need to buy in that foundation and set up a specific frame. If you put a super frame into your brood box, generally what will happen is that the bees will draw comb down beneath the frame to fill up that space, and more often than not they put drone brood in there, and it's ideal if you want to remove some drone brood for Varroa control, because you can simply slice across the bottom of the frame and then either replace it with worker foundation in a full brood frame, or you could replace that frame and go through that process again. So I'm going to get my suit on. We'll talk some more about it when we go through into the apiary. The smoker's lit and it's going really well as usual. And if you want to catch up with more of our videos, then do take a look at my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Norfolk Honey, and you'll be able to catch up with lots more of our content that we publish to that site on a regular basis. So I'll get my suit on and let's head off into the apiary. This is our colony that we have the drone frame in. You can see that we've got a double brood setup here. We're actually in the process of doing a comb change as well. If you want to learn more about the comb change, then do take a look at my Patreon page, because we go through that in some detail. What I've basically got in this top box, I'll talk you through it, is we have lots of new frames. It's been a bit cold, so the bees haven't really been working on them to any great extent. But we have the bees working on the foundation, drawing out the comb, and hopefully the queen, who is also up here, has started to lay eggs in some of these frames. This frame is the frame that the queen was originally on when we moved the bees into this top box, and we put the queen on this comb, and she's laid plenty of eggs in that. Let's just have a look at one more frame. and the queen is actually laying quite strongly. So hopefully with the bramble nectar flow that's just kicked in here locally, the queen will start laying lots more eggs and start working across some more of these frames. But if you want to learn a bit more about comb change, then do take a look at some of our other videos. So I'm just going to move these frames across and then lift this box off. You'll see that there's a queen excluder between the two brood boxes, and that's to keep the queen in this top box. And in this bottom box we have our drone foundation that's been drawn. The queen had laid her eggs in it, and so I was quite happy to move her out of this bottom box and into the top box, knowing that we'd got a frame that had been well laid up with eggs and had brood in it, so we were able to move her out. So let's have a look. Here's our frame that had the drone foundation in, and I've marked the top bar with a D, and hopefully you can see that this is now all capped. So I'm just going to pop that on the floor in the front. I'm just going to move this next frame out as well, because I want to shake the bees off it so I can show you this frame more effectively, and I want to be able to shake the bees into the brood box. So shaking bees off, fingers underneath the lugs at the top, it doesn't matter what type of frame you're using, and then sharp tap down 2 or 3 times and you'll get most of the bees off. Now you can see that this is all now capped. So inside these cells we have larvae that are developing into drones on both sides. Not quite so good over here, but we've got literally hundreds of cells that, should there be any varroa in this colony, with any luck we've trapped them in here. So what's the process from this point on? Well, we need to shake all of these bees off, and then what I'll do is I'll take this frame back home, we'll get it to our unit, pop it into a freezer and humanely kill all of the larvae that are in here and also any of the varroa. Then what we'll do is we'll unpick some of these cells and have a look to see what we've got inside. With any luck we'll have captured some of the varroa, if there are any varroa in this colony. But we just shake all the bees off, so we've got all the bees gone and I can take this out. So the next thing to do is just grab another frame, and what I'll do is I'll put worker foundation into this colony and the bees can then rebuild that. So we've got our new frame to replace the drone frame. That can go in the bottom box, and then we can close this up. In fact, let's pop this other frame back where it was originally from, and then we can close this up. Now I guess the really important thing to say about drone brood removal is that you have to watch the calendar, and regardless of the weather conditions, once the drone brood is capped, you're then on a timer where it counts down relentlessly and you must remove that frame before the drones start to emerge, because if you don't remove that frame and those drones start to emerge from that, all of those cells, all you're going to do is to reproduce lots and lots of varroa if you've got varroa in that colony. So it's absolutely vital that that frame comes out before the drone start to emerge. Other than that, it's a very effective way of removing Varroa from your colony, and I would recommend it over and above using chemical treatments, because at the end of the day, I personally don't want to put chemicals into our colonies wherever possible, and those chemical treatments are becoming ever more expensive, and so you can save yourself some money and still manage the Varroa populations in your colonies. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do look out for more videos to come, and if you have any questions, do pop them beneath the video, but if not, we'll catch up next time. Thanks for watching.